Good afternoon and welcome to the 5,284th meeting of the Rotary Club of Tulsa. Bethany, I'm glad to see you today. It's a lot of knowledge right there. We've got a great program for you today. You're going to be glad you came. We're going to start with an invocation and pledge of allegiance led by our own, well, it would have been led by our own Jerry Dillon, but I bet I'll do it now, followed by guest introductions from Alan Whalen, and then member introductions from past President Chuck Wilson. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please be seated. Good afternoon. Welcome to the Rotary Club of Tulsa. We have a number of guests with us today, and when I read your name, the Rotarian and the guests, would you please stand, remain standing, and we hold our applause to the end. Joe Moran has Darcy Moran. Brian Jackson has Jacqueline Quinnett. Dylan Harden has Jacob Moore. Allison Anthony has Chase Mowry and Andrew Haas. And Cindy Salter has Catherine Scorvaga. Again, welcome to the Rotary Club of Tulsa. We hope to see you back soon.
Mr. President, I'm pleased to not only introduce two new members, but one of the two we're welcoming back. So, Cindy Salter is a native of Tulsa. She graduated from East Central High School and attended Tulsa Junior College, where she earned an associate's degree in business with over 40 years of experience in the real estate industry. She worked at McGraw, Davis & Stewart for 5 years as a broker closer in the mid-'80s. She then moved to First Title and Escrow as an escrow officer and continued in this role with other title companies. Cindy and her late husband, Randall Salter, owned Sooner Optical in the Jamestown Square Shopping Center. After her husband passed away in 2014, she closed up Sooner Optical and continued to operate Jamestown Square for additional 11 years. During this time, she sold real estate for Chenoweth & Cohen and Keller Williams. Cindy sold her shopping center last year and is enjoying her retirement. Cindy has 3 dogs, Hattie Mae, Jackson Taylor, and Gracie Ann. In her free time, she enjoys sitting on her back patio, drinking coffee, reading her Bible, crossword puzzles, bunco, performing arts, festivals, and live music. Otherwise, she has absolutely nothing to do. Cindy was chairman of the Oklahoma City Rotarian visit to Tulsa in 2019. She is happy to be back involved with Rotary, and we're happy that she's back. Little known fact, Cindy's dad, Leroy Cunningham, worked for KTUL-TV in the 60s. They wanted a little girl to do a commercial for Yam Yummies. Guess what? Our newest Rotarian got the job. She became a celebrity with all of her friends in elementary school. Cindy wanted to be an actress when she grew up. So, that didn't happen. And now, Rotarian Case Anderson has introduced Justin Colvin, the Director of Business Development at Rick Scott Construction, to Rotary. At Rick Scott, he focuses on building strong partnerships and helping organizations bring projects from concept to completion. He brings a background in global technology and telecommunications sales, along with construction management and entrepreneurship, and is passionate about relationship-driven work that creates long-term value. Outside of work, Justin is the father of 2 girls and enjoys spending time on his family farm, weightlifting, as you can tell, and working on hands-on projects. He's excited to get involved with Rotary and contribute to service efforts that make a meaningful local impact. Little known fact, Justin spent a year teaching English in South Korea and has a fraternal twin brother. Will you please join me in welcoming them to Rotary?
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Alan and Chuck. Dylan Harden has a side mic announcement for us today. Dylan has been working hard on as our membership services director. I think you'll find this announcement interesting.
Thank you, Carl. So yesterday, I sent out an email to everyone about the Impact Club kickoff. So that's next Wednesday at Nothing's Left Brewery. And so what I'm asking from all of you is that if you know any potential Rotarians that are interested, love to have an invitation sent to them. The goal of this really is just for younger professionals, emerging leaders, individuals with stricter work schedules, or anyone who wants to serve more on evenings or weekends. It's perfect for your community-minded friends, colleagues, or former members or family members that aren't ready for traditional Rotary yet. And then the second one is an exciting one. So we are doing a March Madness challenge. It's a free entry. We're just going to have some bragging rights and a prize. But the link is in the Wednesday message that Tina sent out, and I will be available for questions afterwards. So thank you all.
Thank you, Dylan. You know, one of the things we heard from a lot of people coming out of COVID was, I can't get to a meeting every week. I can't go to a lunch on Wednesday, or I can't go to a lunch on early Tuesday morning or something like that. The purpose of the Impact Club is to give folks who want to be associated with Rotary but can't do a consistent schedule of meetings, to give them a way to be involved and contribute, have the opportunity to participate in Rotary service projects without the same level of commitment. So it's a great tool for those who require flexibility, and Dylan and Barney have been spearheading that for us. We're grateful for that work. DNA today you'll find interesting. It's very timely because we've been talking a little bit about Case Anderson bringing in a new member, and he's helping us with Camp Enterprise. In the April 30th, 1979 edition of the Tulsa Gasser, Rotarian Jimmy Sade announced what was described as, at that time, the most ambitious project ever undertaken by the Rotary Club of Tulsa. That project was the launch of Camp Enterprise. 72 high school juniors from across the city of Tulsa gathered at Sequoia Camp on the shores of Lake Fort Gibson for a 3.5-day program exploring the free enterprise system. Business and community leaders from across Oklahoma led discussions and panels on entrepreneurship, leadership, and the role of business in society. Listen to this slate of speakers. John Zink, yes, that John Zink. Scott Philstrop, who's usually sitting right down here. Fred Davis. Clyde Cole, who at that time was president of the Tulsa Chamber of Commerce. Bob Parker of Parker Drilling Company, and our own Bob Lundgren, with the final address being presented by none other than Senator David Boren. And his presentation was titled, Putting It All Together. And in true 1979 fashion, when that Camp Enterprise event was over, they hosted a disco party. So Ed Monette probably knows something about dancing disco. Are you a disco guy, Ed? You got any leisure suits hanging in your closet? Yeah. Boy, lots of polyester in that era. Gosh. The camp combined learning with discussion groups, recreation, and fellowship. It created an immersive experience designed to inspire the next generation of leaders. One student wrote a letter to the club and said, "The camp was a huge success. I was really impressed by the speakers and learned quite a bit. Because of your camp, I know without a doubt what I want to do with my life." Wouldn't it be great, and isn't it great, we can continue to have that kind of impact on young people through the continuing efforts of Camp Enterprise held by this club. In a letter to the club president, one of our Rotarians reflected that there could be no better use of Rotary Community Fund dollars than a program that connects Rotarians directly with the youth of our community. Now we're 4, almost 5 decades later. Programs like Camp Enterprise continue to reflect the heart of our Rotary DNA: mentorship, leadership, and service above self. By investing our time and experience in young people, we help shape the next generation of leaders for our community. Camp Enterprise is coming up. It's going to be held April 9th through 12th at Camp Victory in Manford. If you know a high school junior that would be would enjoy that opportunity, please get with Case Anderson and let him know about that. Case, how many folks have we had a little over 40 register last time. Are we getting closer to 50? 40, 41. We'd like to get to 50 this year, so we'd like to get 9 or 10 more young people to attend. So if you know of someone, please send that information along. If you're interested in volunteering, the curriculum is all set up. All you have to do is be there and kind of engage with the students, set an example for them. We'd love to have more volunteers for that event as well. Yes, sir. No background check to eat steak, right?
Yes, background check needed to eat the steak. You have to have the background check to come on the grounds.
Have to have the background check to come on the grounds. Okay. Chuck, if you're planning on getting a steak, man, you're going to have to get your background checked. Yeah, Immigrations and Customs Enforcement was looking for you last week, my friend. So today we have something unusual. Our Rotarian of the day is also our speaker. And so I get to introduce our speaker and Rotarian of the day, known as Doc M.B. Mary Beth Sawyer is a health science and kinesiology professor at the University of Tulsa. I can't even spell kinesiology. She earned her Bachelor of Science in Exercise and Sports Science from the Harvard of the Midwest, the University of Tulsa, and an MBA in Healthcare Delivery Sciences before completing her Doctor of Healthcare Administration at Oklahoma State University. Sorry, Ed. In addition to teaching, she hosts the podcast Healthy Humor, where she promotes health education and health literacy. Please join me in welcoming our fellow Rotarian, Mary Beth Sawyer.
Before I begin my presentation, I would like to start off with a quick correction to today's guests. We have Mike Murphy in the audience. Mike, will you please stand up? Okay. This presentation would not be possible if it were not for Mike. He is the development director of the Tulsa Boys Home, and he very graciously let me borrow a few books, which as an avid book lover and reader, I know how big of a deal it is to let someone borrow your books. I promise I will return them after this meeting. But without those books, one of which was a history on our club, the other two a history on the Boys Home, this presentation would not be possible. So thank you, Mike. And one more thing before I get started, and I know Barney's going to shake his head whenever I say this, but I was a little nervous to do this presentation. I am used to being the subject matter expert whenever I give presentations, whether that is in the classroom or on my podcast. So I was a little nervous, and I reached out to a good friend who some of you know, Lauren Rogers. She's been a guest at our club many times. She's spoken at Camp Enterprise, and she is really wonderful. She said something that really hit home. She said, "Don't be nervous. You speak in front of hundreds of students every week, and everyone in that room loves you, unlike all of your students." Which I hope more of my students love me than not, but I know everyone in this room who I have served on committees with or been at weekly meetings with, volunteered my time with, that we all have the same passion because we are all Rotarians. And with that being said, I will be conducting this the same way I like to conduct my intro classes, which is I will begin with a brief history on myself. Hello? Okay. Who in here has heard my Rotary story before? Case, how do I begin my Rotary story? Little before Camp Enterprise. Extra credit, I'll give it. But I do start my Rotary story traditionally with Camp Enterprise, but while I was preparing for this presentation and going through, again, the books that were gifted to me, lent to me, I remembered I got a dictionary in elementary school. There it is. Did anybody else in this room receive a dictionary just like that? Sorry, I thought Case had. I was just calling out Case again. But I received a dictionary from some wonderful Rotarians in elementary school. I forgot about this dictionary until I saw this photo, and I remembered the hours that I spent looking up words because I was, from a young age, very interested in a lot of different things, and so I used this dictionary quite a bit. Eventually, I did have to get rid of it, mostly because I had used it so much that it was falling apart. I can't believe that I forgot about this. I always started with Camp Enterprise, but instead I start today with this dictionary. And then, fast forward a few years, I went to Camp Enterprise in high school. So from dictionary in the 3rd grade to Camp Enterprise as a junior in high school, which I also forgot something until I was preparing for this presentation. Garrett Robinson, will you please stand up? Garrett Robinson is one of our newer members within the last year. Garrett and I have gone to school together since the 6th grade, and as juniors in high school, we both attended Camp Enterprise together. And if you would like to see some very embarrassing videography of both of us, go to the Camp Enterprise website and go to, I think, the 3rd video down on the videos and photography list. Okay, so now fast forward to, I was completing my master's in or my MBA at TU, and I was managing a local boxing gym. One of our clients came in, and she was on the bike talking about how she had joined this new organization, and she was very excited about it. And the way she was describing it, it was a lot of volunteerism and giving back to the Tulsa community. And I said, well, I was president of my high school Key Club, and I went to this thing called Camp Enterprise, and what you're talking about sounds a lot like the adults that I would work with when I went to that camp and when I did things through Key Club, which I know Key Club is not Rotary, not. But I said, it sounds very similar. And she said, well, it's called Rotaract, and it is very similar because we are connected to the Rotary Club. And I said, sign me up. So I very quickly got, as I do with anything, too involved initially with Rotaract, volunteering a lot of time. Some of this was during the pandemic, so we were going out and picking up trash or going to different events to volunteer our time, and of course, promoting all the good work we were doing. Which then led me to this club. The first time I stepped foot in this room, I was very nervous, far more nervous than I was this morning to give this presentation. I was nervous because I knew I was going to be surrounded by leaders in their field, business people, leaders in the community, and I wanted to impress them. I really did. And I was very quickly, all of my nerves were washed away. I soon realized that this was a place that I belonged. This was a room where I knew I could feel like I was coming home every Wednesday at noon. I'm not getting emotional, you are. Fast forward a few more years, and I'm still just as involved as I was then, going to as many events and volunteering as much as possible. I've even, not that I'm wearing it today, but I have received my Paul Harris Fellow, which takes us to one of our most recent endeavors, Shop with a Cop. Last year I had the honor of chairing Shop with a Cop, and it was a wonderful experience, and I hope to do that again soon. But how do we go from that little girl with a dictionary to someone who's chairing a committee for us? Well, let's have a quick refresher from our website. So this is great for any new members or anyone who just hasn't looked at our website in a while. But members are the heartbeat of Rotary, dedicated people who share a passion for community service and friendship. Service above self conveys the humanitarian spirit of the Rotary Club of Tulsa and Rotary International's 1.2 million members. Strong fellowship among Rotarians and meaningful community and international service projects characterize Rotary worldwide. Our members, Tulsa's most respected community leaders, are working together to address today's most pressing humanitarian challenges, including fighting disease, providing clean water, supporting education, and promoting peace. Our website also tells us that together we see a world where people unite and take action to create lasting change across the globe, in our communities, and in ourselves. So, all of that being said, I wanted to focus today on the things that I think make Rotary great, which is our legacy, where we're going from here and where we've been, the changes that we have made on this city. This presentation came to be because I told a group of Rotarians last year preparing to get our programs together for this year, I shared that one of my favorite absolute things about Tulsa is how green of a city we are. No offense to Oklahoma City or to those going on the field trip. I'm calling it a field trip because I don't know what else to call it exactly, in a few weeks to Oklahoma City. I love Tulsa. I'm not the biggest fan of Oklahoma City, and again, a huge part of that is because we are a very green city when you look around, and I was once told that that was because of Up With Trees and because of the Rotarian efforts that brought about Up With Trees. So that is how this presentation will begin. According to a recent Tulsa People article, the phone rang again at 4:30 in the afternoon, by which time Sid Patterson was tired, grumpy, and in no mood to listen to yet another complaint. Tulsa was widening 51st Street to 4 lanes in the summer of 1974, and crews were busy that day, cutting down a line of majestic oak trees that had stood for almost a century, planted long ago on the edge of a narrow dirt road in the middle of the countryside. Now 51st had become a congested bottleneck for suburban traffic. As someone who lives right off 51st, I can say it's still a congested bottleneck for traffic. The trees had to go, but Patterson, starting a second 2-year term as Tulsa's street commissioner, had to listen to angry residents who preferred the trees over progress. "Oh, this must be another complaint call," he said, exasperated as he picked up the phone. "No," the caller said. He was a 17-year-old high school student, and he told Patterson he understood why the trees were coming down, but he had one question. What's the city doing to replace those trees? Patterson had to admit sheepishly, nothing. In the years ahead, he would often cite that phone call as the inspiration for starting Up With Trees, a nonprofit organization that has since planted tens of thousands of trees all across Tulsa. But that's not the whole story. When Patterson became street commissioner in 1972, Tulsa already had a committee looking for ways to beautify the new expressway system, as it was still under construction in some parts of the city at the time. The group wanted to emulate the elaborate landscaping that Tulsa officials had seen while studying scenic parkways and thoroughfares in states like California and New York. But Oklahoma didn't have funding for such extravagances. "Sid, you're the city commissioner, and you know the city's financial condition as well as I do," Mayor Bobby LaFortune told Patterson. "Go out and see what you can do in a private way. The city will help you all it can, but don't expect any money." Some things are still like that. Patterson was born January 1st, 1921, a month after his father and uncle started Patterson Steel Company. His uncle died shortly afterward, leaving Patterson's father in charge of the company, and went on to help build some of Tulsa's most notable landmarks, including Boston Avenue United Methodist Church and the Prayer Tower at Oral Roberts University. Patterson, with a degree in civil engineering from the University of Oklahoma, worked for the steel company for more than 20 years until the family told the business just before he ran for street commissioner in 1972. I think I said told and I meant sold. Leaving office 4 years later, he devoted himself to founding and running Up With Trees, using donations and volunteer labor to beautify Tulsa streets. "It sure made a difference," Patterson said once late in life. "I'm amazed and I'm pleased as you go down some of the highways where we've planted trees, and the trees have been there 10 or 15 or even 20 years. In November 2008, the city unveiled a bronze statue of Patterson near 33rd Street and Riverside Drive. He died April 27, 2012, at age 91. Not included in the article that I quoted here is the fact that Sid was also a 59-year Rotarian whenever he passed away. So why are trees so important besides just beautifying our city? And yes, beautifying is a word. There are currently 5.2 million trees in Tulsa. If the city were to lose all of these trees, it would cost us $5.3 billion to replace them. These trees provide $102 million in increased property value and 26% canopy coverage over the county. Tulsa's trees save $18.4 million in avoided stormwater runoff and $6.6 million in reduced carbon emissions. Since Up With Trees began in 1976, they have planted nearly 40,000 trees in the Tulsa community. They plant trees in a sustainable way by planning for optimal establishment and health with a master plan to achieve 30% coverage for the urban canopy in 20 years. This map shows what the tree coverage looked like in 1976. Here's what it looks like today, and here's what it will hopefully look like in just a few more years. That looks like a city I'd like to live in or grow my business in. If you'd like to get involved or help out, you could start by wishing them a 50th birthday, because in case you didn't catch on earlier, they are celebrating their 50th anniversary this year. You can adopt a tree site or sponsor a tree giveaway or volunteer your time. If you are interested in adopting a tree site, they are 50% off this year in honor of the 50th anniversary. So if you've ever driven around, seen a sign, thought about maybe making a donation or donating a tree site, this is probably the best year to do it, because they probably won't be this cheap ever again. So. Moving on to the Tulsa Boys Home. In 1918, a Rotarian passed by a downtown alley where he saw a young boy sleeping in a cardboard box. Some accounts even specify that this was a piano crate, which we have a lovely piano in this room. Does a piano crate look like something you'd want to live in? Something that small in an alley in downtown Tulsa in the year 1918? Probably not. This Rotarian saw these boys, these orphans, and he quickly marshaled the efforts of the club and members of the First Presbyterian Church. In short order, they raised $10,000, which I'm not super good at math, so I went to Google, and it told me that that would be about $216,000 in today's value. This was raised to purchase a house on South Boulder to establish a residence for homeless boys. Today, Tulsa Boys Home is located just south of Sand Springs on 158 wooded acres. Is Jerry Dillon here today? Okay. Well, you all get to see a very lovely young Jerry Dillon. Because if you were to zoom in on that last photo there, down there on the front, that is a very young Jerry Dillon. At the time, I believe he was just working with the Boys Home, but he eventually went on to spend many decades as their director. The home currently has the capacity to service approximately 62 boys at a time and 125 individual boys annually. 50 of these boys are placed by DHS, and the remaining 12 are placed by parents or guardians, and they range in ages from 13 to 18. The boys at the home attend an on-campus school and engage in equine therapy in addition to traditional counseling methods. Fun fact, many of the horses that these boys get to work with are donated retired thoroughbreds that are living out their retirement in a very lovely place. In addition to these services, the boys have the ability to fish on site at what I am told is a well-stocked pond, play on the tickleball, tennis and pickleball court, and care for the cats that roam the grounds. Okay. The home has served thousands of Tulsa boys in the 108 years since its founding. Tulsa Boys Home started with a Rotarian who was incapable of standing by while they saw injustice of Tulsa children living on the streets. And since its founding, Rotarians have stayed involved. In the earliest days, this looked like another organization that I did not know existed, the Rotary Amber Anns. Anyone familiar with the Amber Anns? The Amber Anns were the wives of original Rotarian of Rotarian members before women were allowed in the club. So these were women that were out doing Rotarian-inspired, Rotarian-infused works and good deeds without the title of Rotarian. These were the Amber Anns. And what they did in the early days, they would make holiday meals for the boys or patch holes in clothes that had gotten a little tattered. They serviced this club, and they also helped with the Tulsa Boys Home. All right. Oh, nope, we're going too far forward. Today, many opportunities exist for anyone, not just Rotarians, who want to help the good works being done at the Tulsa Boys Home or support the boys there. They can volunteer their time or counseling services to work with the boys in the home. They can always donate money, or they can go have a good time at this year's Run for the Roses, a Kentucky Derby-inspired party that, if you've been to this event, please raise your hand. Okay, quite a few in this room. Going through the photos on their website, I saw photos that looked like people were having a very good time, including a photo of my friend's mother that I sent to her and said, "Looks like you had a blast, thanks for inviting me." But my sass aside, it does look like a very fun event, and I do intend on attending this year. Okay. All right, moving on to the Tulsa Area United Way. Before we had the Tulsa Area United Way, we had the Community Chest. Rotarians were the founding members of the Community Chest, and they initially raised about $240,000 to support 11 local health and human service organizations. As the forerunner to the Tulsa Area United Way, it began in 1924 and officially changed names to Tulsa Area United Way in 1947. In 2025, Tulsa Area United Way raised $26.5 million, and in the time since its inception in 1924, it has invested more than $979 million in the Tulsa community. These funds go to 160 programs across nearly 70 different organizations and 37 different counties. These programs and organizations support educational opportunities, mental health services, and mentorship programs for the youth in our community. They build up the physical, mental, and social well-being of individuals and families, fostering community resiliency by providing critical resources and long-term support after emergencies, and build financial security by increasing access to career opportunities and quality housing, laying the foundation so that more families can build generational wealth. If you would like to get involved with Tulsa Area United Way, they have more opportunities than I could possibly list off in this room, or in this meeting. We would go way over time, and I think several of you would be mad at me for making you late getting back to work. But if you're interested in volunteering with the Tulsa Area United Way or learning more about the good works they do, please visit their website. Okay. I know this says not mentioned, but really these should be honorable mentions. The focus of this presentation was to discuss nonprofits that spawned out of our club, whether as a committee that turned into its own nonprofit or that were simply founded by Rotarians. There was not enough time, I think, to put them all together, so these are our honorable mentions. MSNI, Medical Supply Network Incorporated, many of us have volunteered there over the years, began as a club committee, and it provides medical equipment and supplies for those in need around the world since 1996. MSNI has shipped over 300 containers to 47 different countries, providing approximately $75 million in supplies and equipment over 30 years. The Convalescent Home for Crippled Children was opened in 1925. After this hospital was established by the Tulsa Rotary Club, it was handed over to the Junior League of Tulsa, or Tulsa Junior League, who turned it into what eventually became the Children's Medical Center. And after merging their services into Hillcrest Health System, this Children's Medical Center closed in 2000. Big Brothers Big Sisters of Oklahoma was founded in the late 1950s. Their headquarters for their Oklahoma operations is here in Tulsa. And I could not find any super specific details on how Rotary is tied to it, but several accounts did note that the founding members, the men and women who brought Big Brothers Big Sisters to Oklahoma, were Rotarians. According to their 2025 annual report, Big Brothers Big Sisters of Oklahoma made 1,474 matches in 2025, leading to 4,039 lives impacted and 70,000 mentor hours. So, who are we as Rotarians? Well, we are people of action. We are creating a world where Tulsans can unite and take action to create lasting change across green country and beyond. We're building a community that takes leaders, from children to the leaders you see in front of you every day. We are the Rotary Club of Tulsa. Do you have any questions? Does anyone have any questions? Yes, Bethany. My favorite part of putting this together is not only everything that I put into the presentation, but all of the things I wasn't able to put into the presentation. The book, the history book that Mike let me borrow, it was for the first 100 years of our Rotary Club, and there's so much there. I mean, our club has done some really amazing things, either as our club or as our members out in the community. And I just think it's wonderful to see what we've been able to do and how we've been able to create a long-lasting impact on Tulsa. So that was probably my favorite part. Or going through really old pictures to find that baby photo of me. So. Yes?
Tina has a few of them left for sale if somebody wanted to purchase them. I'm not sure how many though, Dale, but I know there's at least a dozen. And sometimes I actually purchased one from eBay, and it was inscribed to someone named Ed. Not this Ed. Another Ed.
I will say she's probably going to have one less by the end of today because I have to give my copy back to Mike, so I'll get my own. Any other questions? Okay. Well, then I will hand it back over to Carl. Before I am done, I would challenge everyone to think about what your Rotary legacy will be, though, what you will leave behind.
Mary Beth, thank you for doing that research and talking to us today. You know, I've really enjoyed this year doing the Rotary DNA, and when Mary Beth offered to do this program to have a chance to dig in deep on some of these things, it was appealing to me. You might be interested to know we did the piece on Route 66 a few weeks ago, did a little bit of DNA. Cy Avery was a member of our club, and Reese Martin talked about the Route 66 Association. Tina and I got an email from the editor-in-chief of Rotary International magazine last week. His name is Jeff with a G, G-E-O-F-F, and he said, "We're doing a little piece on Route 66. Would your club happen to know anything about that?" And I responded and said, "Jeff with a G, you have hit the mother lode." And you hit the mother lode for the mother road. We were able to send him the video of our presentation. We sent him a lot of material from Reese Martin. We were able to send him material from Ashley Cutshaw and her dad, Richard Holmes. And the back and forth with him, I think we're going to appear in the June issue of Rotary International magazine. So if you get a chance, don't throw that issue straight in the trash. Take a look and see if your club is mentioned in it. A book honoring today's program will be donated to our partners in education, Celia Clinton Elementary School. This week's book is What If We Were All Generous? We've got some really good events coming up. On Tuesday, April 21st, Sheree Gardner has lined up a bus for us to go to Oklahoma City. It'll leave from the First Methodist Church at about 7:45 a.m. and return 5:30 p.m. Now that is a Tuesday, because Tuesday is the day that Rotary Club meets. The cost is $45 and includes round-trip transportation, tours, and a full day of fellowship and discovery, including a really neat tour at the National Cowboy Hall of Fame. Don't miss this signature Rotary tradition. The bus only holds 56. And I've seen Sheree turn up a whole lot more than 56 people for a Golden Circle Gala, so that will book out shortly. You'll find the registration link in the Monday message. Did y'all know we got a district conference coming up right here in Tulsa? The 8th annual Rotary District 6110 Foundation Banquet. Part of that conference will be honoring the legacy of past District Governor Rolf Huffnagel and his wife Kay, and that's going to be on Friday, May 1st at 6 o'clock. Now, Chuck, you were working on putting together a sponsorship for a table. Did you fill that sponsorship?
We have other options, another table.
Okay, all right. So Chuck can talk to you about that. If you just want to register for your own ticket, I think they're $100 a piece for that meal. The following day, May 2nd, we'll kick off the 2026-2027 district conference. The conference registration fee is $125. Now, our club this year committed to investing in our members' participation in leadership growth opportunities. What's that mean? That means we're willing to spend some money on registration to that conference for some of our members. So if you'd like to attend that conference and perhaps your employer doesn't have an allocation for it, you can get a application from Tina to fill out, and the board will take a look at that and try to approve the funds to pay for your registration so you can go to that event. Since it's in Tulsa, we'd like to have a whole lot of Rotary Club of Tulsa members at that conference. Upcoming programs. Next week, Governor Kevin Stitt. Register often, register early. It's going to be busy. It's going to be full. If you're going to bring guests, please register in advance so that Tiamos can know how much food to prepare for us. On April the 1st, Chris Zervas will speak. And his topic, he's a trainer. He does leadership training, he does leadership coaching, executive coaching. He's a really dynamic guy. And this presentation name, kind of interesting. It's better to eat Twinkies together than broccoli by yourself. Now, I'm going to come just to see how he ties that in to leadership and organizational training. And then April 8th, a name you all recognize, Sherry Cole, will be speaking. I know you'll want to come and see that. We've got 2 committee meetings today. We've got social events in room 231, and we've got Club Foundation grants in room 232. We want to thank our Rotary sponsors. You've got their placards on your table there, the names of people that contribute extra to help our club run smoothly. Also, you've got the Rotary conversation starters there on your table with questions that when you come next week, if you get a chance to chat about those, I'd actually like to know the answers to some of those questions. Before you leave today, please stop at the guest table in the foyer, shake hands with new member Justin Colvin and recycled member Cindy Salter. Cindy is part of Rotary's sustainability program. Glad to have you, Cindy. We're trying to be as environmentally friendly as possible. Next week, we'll look forward to seeing, Governor Stitt's going to talk about the American dream in Oklahoma. So I do hope you invite some guests to that and do register them in advance. We need you to register those by tomorrow if you can so we can plan for this properly. We're also going to start serving lunch next week at 11:15 a.m. And no, Phil Ashley, that doesn't mean you get to go through the line twice. That just means we're going to start it early. So thanks to everyone who came today. We're glad that you're here. I'm glad you got to hear Mary Beth Sawyer. We stand adjourned.